start with the very basic questions. Which camps did you attend and when?
I did level 2 at Ferguson 96.
What was your career trajectory before and after attending MTTS?
I finished my BSc, then came to Bombay University for MSc, and there, of course, I was in the hostel, and there I met Abhijit and Ajit. From them, I learned about MTTS. Okay, and most of the like MTTS first timers, I've heard them saying that coming to MTTS was a kind of cultural shock. Cultural in the sense mathematically cultural shock. Like nobody, most of them would not have learned mathematics in that way earlier and before coming to MTTS. But my case was like different, I had been a student of Professor Kumaresan for a year before I came to MTTS, and I had been in the so as Abhijit was mentioning, Professor Kumaresan was running a Saturday seminar series in which I used to participate. I used to attend, and I have given sessions there. So I've been part of all these activities, and I was in this group. I happened to join this group of Ajit, Abhijit, Jyoti, and other gang. Like we used to have evening walks talking mathematics. So these were kind of so by the time I reached MTTS, I was in that culture already. So MTTS, it was. Of course, 1 month of, as Abhijit said, like do mathematics until you exhaust, then sleep and get up, do again. That of course had a great effect. But I would rate, the effect of Professor Kumaresan during my Mumbai University days, slightly above effect of MTTS in my academic career. Whenever I think about mathematics, how to think about it's basically that training of 2 years and 3 courses. That stays above. And of course, I had all these friends who are who had previous MTTS experience, so that I got of all of them even without attending 1995 MTTS. So that's how that's my connection with MTTS. And of course, the trajectory, yes, it was more, as I said, more of Bombay University experience that changed my trajectory rather than the MTTS. But that is, they are both the same in some sense. It's basically Professor Kumaresan's influence. That's what that's what changed my views and looking at mathematics, how to learn mathematics, how to think about mathematics. All these things, whatever I have right now is basically Professor Kumaresan's, and then and most of them, I should say. I should not completely say that others were nothing like that, but it's many of them are Professor Kumaresan's teaching, and of course the friends.
So how do you think MTTS has impacted your teaching career?
MTTS, so I will club MTTS and my Mumbai University experience, because they are, I would say they are one and the same. And MTTS was, a continuous 1 month, no other distractions or no other activities, purely this. But they are, essentially the same. So teaching, of course, I have learned a lot from Professor Kumaresan, and another person I've learned a lot is Abhijit. The way, how to answer a question, that's something. So I used to just take my books and go to Abhijit's room. I used to tell him, I didn't understand anything, so you teach me. So the way he was handling those sessions, those were really eye openers. And then slowly, I saw the connection, how Abhijit is handling, how Kumaresan sir is handling. I could see that, the similarity, that connection. And that was, and I still, continue that kind of, something that I learned quite early. And of course, I still see, this is something that I always say when we are with Professor Kumaresan, every time you get something to learn. It could be a minor observation, or it could be a minor point of view, but something, always it's like that. So that part I still learn whenever I am with him. But it's the teaching. My teaching style is heavily influenced by Professor Kumaresan and the MTTS style. I try my level best to follow all those philosophies, and but of course, I have my own limitations. And that's basically my teaching style, my philosophy. I am indebted to MTTS and Professor Kumaresan.
Apart from academics, how do you think MTTS has changed you as a person?
Of course, we have had, and I have had a lot of good friends. And then, of course, yes, I have to, I have not analyzed that question heavily. So giving an answer right away is difficult. Like, for example, I can, if I see the diagram that Ajit has in the MTTS souvenir, then I will be able to relate and say, but offhand, well, see, basically it has helped in, in the thinking process. How to think about anything, whether it is mathematics or, that's the basic. And even as a parent, interacting with your kids, if I'm sure it's basically that, the culture that MTTS has, injected in me, to think about, okay, if I have shouted at somebody, then at a later point of time, I think about it. So that thinking process, I think that's the key point, that key thing that MTTS has helped me in the. It's basically, it's whether it's academic life or outside life. That's the main thing that I would say.
So how different are MTTS camps now compared to back when you were attending it?
So one, slightly in a lighter vein, but one change is during our time, when Professor Kumaresan enters the class, we that difference. At that time when he enters the class, we all will be like completely alert, and it's difficult when he asks a question. Anyone will be very kind of scared to give an answer, whether one has to think several times and so on. But nowadays I see that students, he has mellowed down a lot, and, so when he comes to the class, I don't see any difference in the in the class. Like we will be, when the class is going on, by say if Ajit is teaching, I'll be sitting in the back bench, and if Professor Kumaresan enters through the back door or front door, I can see how students react. I don't see much difference now, but during our time, that was a lot of difference was huge. But in a serious way, it is. He, in some sense, that's also. I would see it as a very positive change. His intention hasn't changed, but his method has changed a bit. He used to be, more aggressive then, but even now, the the intention of making each student think, that hasn't changed. So and of course, the main changes are, like as Abhijit pointed out, this lot of things has been fine-tuned and made and officially as a part of MTTS. For example, this group discussions and student seminars. These are the two things that that has, I think recently, that these are two things that has been that was not there when we were there. I mean, as formally as now. That's one major change in the structure.
What do you think sets MTTS apart from other camps?
So I have been to other camps as well. Like there are these advanced camps, mainly advanced mathematics training camps. So one main difference, with MTTS is that, see, in MTTS we only have some tentative topics that we have in mind when we start. Okay, one should be able to, the basic aim is not to cover certain type of syllabus, but it's basically you need to give some ideas. But we will have some tentative idea about the topics that you want to discuss in the during the program. But in many other programs, it's it is like the organizers and the teachers come with a fixed mindset of teaching a certain set of topics to the students. So in the advanced camps, this is helpful in some ways, but if you do it properly, it is not bad. Coming with a set of topics in mind to do something, it's okay. But only thing is, you have to finally it boils down to how you do it. Okay. So, but of course, this teaching is individuals' priority. Their philosophy will be different for each person. I have tried to convince in some other camps that this is not the we should try to at least change this a bit. Not exactly this should be done, but that not always works. So this is one aspect that I would I mean, one can have fixed set of topics in mind and so on, but the way you do it, that that is most of the times it is different from the MTTS style.
How was attending MTTS as a student different from attending MTTS as faculty?
Yeah, so the main challenge that I face, of course, that in everyday teaching also, and particularly in MTTS, is the what are the right questions to ask to the students, right? When we were students, the teachers asked the right questions to motivate us or to make us think. So to come up with the right questions, that's really challenging, and that's how MTTS goes on. We don't really write out of the blue statement of the theorem and proof. Okay, so we finally, after proving everything, we write down the statement. This is what we have proved now, kind of. So how to motivate or how to motivate the students to think in a particular direction. That's very challenging, particularly as Ajit was saying, when Professor Kumaresan is right there in the class. It's more, I mean, of course, we don't really have to, but still, that pressure, that's there. But it's challenging.